Hey, this is Anthony from Empire Music and EmpireMusicOnline.com, and today I'm going to be showing you the Fender American Pro Jazz Bass in Sonic Gray with a Rosewood fretboard on it. Let's get started. So some of the features on this American Pro Jazz Bass, like I said, it's a Sonic Gray finish with a Rosewood fretboard. It has 1.5 inch width at the nut, pretty typical jazz bass stuff there. Nice, easy to play, string spacing super natural if you're used to a jazz bass. If you're used to a P bass, it's gonna feel a little bit smaller. Feels great, man. And new profile on the neck for these American Pros. It is what they call a modern C, so it's a little slimmer as far as the width in between your hand there. So that kind of also adds to it being kind of fleet feeling. You're going to be able to play kind of fast on this. Obviously not that you have to, but it feels good when you do. Tall, narrow frets, that's new. They're a little bit narrower, but they're taller, as the name implies. And what's great about those is it makes it really easy to fret the note. You don't have to apply so much downward force on the string to get the note to pronounce, to get the note to sustain. And talking about sustain, it's got a high mass bridge on it. That also kind of adds to that as well. So between the frets and the bridge, not necessarily an upgrade, but a welcome modification from the American Standard series. Fluted tuning shafts. So when you're tuning, they're kind of tapered. So downward pressure is going to be naturally applied while you're tuning it, at least more downward pressure. So the break angle over the nut is great. Also helps with the sustain in the bass. Helps it stay in tune, eliminates some sympathetic vibration that you can get back here beyond the nut of the bass there. Pickup wise, looks pretty standard, but definitely some, again, I don't like to use the word improvement, just some modifications over the American Standard stuff. The newly designed Michael Bump single coil jazz pickups, a little bit hotter, I think, and maybe a little more representative of the frequency spectrum. So string to string, a really, really nice even response. It plays really, really good. Really helps a player have their own kind of sound on display. So, you know, if you dig harder, if you dig lighter, whatever you kind of do with your hands, with your fingers on both ends of the bass are really going to come through with these pickups here. I mentioned the high mass bridge. Controls are pretty straightforward. You got volume, volume, tone. That's about it with it. Pretty stock standard stuff for jazz basses, but with some new modifications that are new to the American Pro Series. So let's dig into some of the sounds we're going to be able to pull out of this thing. Great starting point, both pickups wide open on 10. Going to have the tone knob set around 85, 80. And just some nice fingerstyle playing to kind of give you the meat and potatoes kind of sound out of something like this. You hear how that Rosewood's really kind of warming up the sound versus maple, which is a slightly denser wood. Rosewood's a bit softer, so it's going to, I wouldn't necessarily say it has a lot more low end, but it's a little bit of a warmer, rounder sound inherently versus maple. Really, really nice, very easy to play, almost kind of a soft feel on the fretboard. So that's pickups wide open. If we get into just the front pickup, I'm going to roll the tone knob back a little bit to get a little bit of a tubbier kind of muffled sound out of it. Or some palm muting stuff with your thumb if you're getting like, you know, a reggae vibe or an old, you know, kind of an old 60s kind of thuddy kind of Motown Jamerson kind of sound out of it. It's a little something like this. nice kind of vintage kind of vibe going on with that. Then you roll just the bridge pickup on, bring the tone back up. Get a little bit of noise because it is a single coil. They're not noiseless pickups, but that's all right. And you get a little tauter of a sound, some more mid-range push out of it. Obviously, harmonics are gonna really, really ring out good at that setting. Really bright sound. So that's just some of the sounds you can pull out of a bass like this. It's really, really versatile. You know, and always encouraged to get your own sounds out of it. Different pickup configurations, different configurations with the tone knob it's gonna allow you to kind of find your own voice on an instrument like this. So again, really, really versatile bass and an absolute blast to play. So once again, I was showing you the American Pro jazz bass from Fender, Sonic Gray finish, white pick guard, Rosewood neck, or Rosewood fretboard, I should say. Really, really versatile instrument. Like I said, really, really fun to play. Spacing super comfortable, super familiar to jazz bass users. Gonna seem a little more streamlined if you're used to the P bass, 1 5/8" at the nut. This is 1.5 inches. Great instrument. You can find more details about it at empiremusiconline.com. Be sure to follow us on the YouTube channel. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all over the social media platforms. And really appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time. Thanks.